Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This video, we begin with a really interesting story from the subreddit Relationship Advice, of course, coming with an update, and then we're gonna move on to some petty revenge. As usual, if you want to move around to the different parts of the video, you can always use the timestamps right below it. Now, let's get started with this first post. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice, and it's by user BF Ballthrow. My 23 female boyfriend, 25 male, and his family are angry because I wouldn't shave my head for his sister who has cancer. I've been with Matthew for 3 years now, and we have a perfect relationship. I know everyone says that, but it really is true. I want to spend the rest of my life with him. I've only met his family a few times because they live pretty far away, and my boyfriend had a huge falling out with his father a couple of years ago. They've since patched things up, but it's still not the same as it was. Matthew is not particularly close to his sister because she's 12 years younger than him and he doesn't see her that often. Of course, he still loves and adores her, but they're not a very close family. Jessica has cancer and as a result has lost all of her hair. Matthew is devastated, obviously, and has been going to visit her more often. I have only seen her a few times since because of work commitments. I have been down twice alone, without Matthew, to visit her in the hospital. She's a lovely young girl and I'm devastated for her and their family. Jessica is home at the moment and Matthew's mom called last Friday and asked if we could go over there. Upon arrival, Matthew's mom whipped out a pair of scissors and shavers and said that the whole family was shaving their heads for Jessica. My job is modeling. I have very thick, natural auburn hair that reaches my waist. It's one of the reasons that I'm fairly successful. It's one of the reasons I can afford to pay the bills. I couldn't model without my hair. So, I respectfully and politely declined, telling them that it would be detrimental to my career. I don't have 2 jobs. I don't have a backup. This is my job. It's my moneymaker. If I couldn't model, I don't know what I would do. Matthew immediately got angry, insisting that this is more important, and while I agree that sentimentally and emotionally this is far more important, I cannot afford to lose my hair. I have to think logically about this, otherwise I won't have a roof over my head. Matthew's mom was very upset and proceeded to tell Jessica that I wouldn't shave my hair because I am vain. I apologized to Jessica and explained my reasoning and I went home. I have barely spoken to Matthew since it happened, and he says he needs space to consider if he wants to be in this relationship. I told him that I would do anything other than shaving my head. I'll do a charity run, I'll raise tons of money, whatever I can possibly do, instead of shaving my head. But he won't listen. All he says is, how can you put your looks and vanity over my cancer-ridden sister? Did I do the wrong thing? Obi, I don't think you're doing the wrong thing. I think you're doing exactly what makes sense for you to do. First of all, cutting your hair will not take the cancer away from your boyfriend's sister, yes. But it is a show of support and that can be very good for somebody who is in her situation as well. However, your position is absolutely understandable. It's your livelihood. I can totally understand the pain that your boyfriend and his mom are going through regarding the sister, but if you're not cutting your hair and that makes him reevaluate the relationship, that's something that you guys need to talk about. I wouldn't take the dump him approach, but I would definitely talk to him what is going on. Now regarding the mom telling the daughter that you wouldn't do it because you're vain, that's just uncalled for, it's unnecessary. But she could have also done it out of stress because of the whole situation. Anyways, what do you guys think? Do you think OP was wrong not to cut her hair? Do you think she's doing the right thing? What would you do? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Slagathor says, what is wrong with these people? Quote, all he says is, how can you put your looks and vanity over my cancer-ridden sister? No, you are putting your career first. Moreover, how dare he use his kid sister's trauma as a way to guilt trip you? You sound incredibly supportive of this little girl already. Not everyone would go see her in the hospital without their significant other. Helenarth says, I think something that needs to be said here is that even if your job didn't depend on your hair, It's that it's still your hair, and it's completely understandable that you don't want to shave it for any reason. Yeah, shaving your head is a nice gesture, but there are plenty of other ways to be supportive without making a massive change to your personal appearance that will take years and years to reverse, as your hair is so long. It's not vain to be happy with the way you look and not want to change it, especially when the reason for changing it is emotional support, which can be achieved in many other ways. Autumn X says, shaving your head for someone who has cancer is a personal decision. Honestly, I would only do it if my daughter had cancer and it would make her feel more confident. Your significant other is allowed to request space and feel however it is he wants, but don't feel bad for 1 second. I think your significant other and his family are really being out of line. Just remember that they are going through a lot of emotions with this cancer diagnosis, and hopefully it's just a matter of not being able to think straight. Otherwise, I would not want to ever be a part of this family. This should not be a demand. Opie's edit. Matthew told me that Jessica is very upset and has told all of their family repeatedly that she hates me for having long hair and refusing to shave it for her. She's only 13 years old though. I have a feeling that the family is perhaps poisoning her view, and of course, she's going to be having a difficult time as it is. I can't hold any grudges against a young girl being in such an awful situation. I am going to give it another few days and then I'm going to speak with Matthew and his mom and Jessica. One additional thing. I feel the need to defend Matthew's family a little. They're not crazy people. They've always been absolutely lovely and kind and welcoming towards me. They were a normal, happy family before this happened. Their youngest member of the family, the innocent, sweet, vulnerable girl, is dying and there's nothing they can do about it other than try to make her happy. Of course their view is clouded. Of course they're not being rational. Matthew's mom has quit her job to spend more time with Jessica. They've spent every penny they have on gifts for her. I don't think they're crazy or bad people. They're in a world of hell, and the only thing that makes it better is putting a smile on Jessica's face, and me shaving my head would have done that. If they don't come to terms with it and start thinking clearly soon, then I will agree with everyone and I will call them crazy and run for the hills. But at the moment, I'm trying to be as supportive as I can to my boyfriend and his family, whose hearts are all broken. Put yourself in their shoes. Okay, well, the community raised some pretty good points, and Opie's edit did give us a little bit more context. Now, of course you guys know that when I find more information in the comment section, I give it to you as additional context. So let's move on with that, and then we'll move on with the update. As far as I'm aware, Matthew didn't know this was a thing his family was planning. I think if he did know, he would have told me. He does know that my hair and career are important. He just feels this situation trumps that. That day, after I left, the whole family went through with it and shaved their heads. A lot of people are saying that I should break up with my boyfriend. It's not something I'm going to consider whilst my boyfriend is going through such a crappy time. He's acting selfish, immature, and unfair because his life right now is centered around the little sister that he never made much time for, who could die soon. All he wants to do right now is make her life as good as possible, which is why he's temporarily forgetting the importance of me and the things in my life. I can't blame him all that harshly. I won't let go of an amazing 3-year relationship that has made my life so much more enjoyable and happy because of some, hopefully, temporary insanity. Not every problem is solved by a breakup. People F up a lot, and I'd like to give people a chance to rectify themselves before I jump ship. This isn't Matthew. This is Matthew whose little sister is dying, and I won't break up with that person. Emotions are running incredibly high in their family at the moment. I'm trying to give all of them, including Matthew, plenty of space to calm down and think about it. They're all very, understandably, angry in general at the moment, and I think it helps them to put some kind of blame and anger on me, particularly Matthew. I think he feels kind of guilty for not visiting her very much before she had cancer. Once everyone is calmed down, I'll discuss it with them, and hopefully they can come to see my point of view. I didn't get a lot of time whilst I was there to explain myself fully, because they were all really angry the second I said that I couldn't. I try to pick my battles, and I don't want to battle with a family going through hell already. As soon as I put myself in their shoes, I can't be angry about it. Their world is revolving around making Jessica happy, and I can understand that, even if I can't bend to it. Alright, so now that we've got all the context, let's move on to the update to see what happened after all of this. I'm sorry it's taken a while for me to update. I've been really busy and didn't want to post until it was resolved. I got so many helpful and positive comments on my last post, so thank you so much for that. I kept a lot of the comments in mind when I spoke to Matthew and his family. Matthew contacted me saying that he had seen my Reddit thread, I'm not sure how. He said that he was really sorry and that a lot of the commenters were right. He said that his view was clouded and he wasn't thinking properly. We spoke for hours and I forgave him. I told him that I accepted his apology and that in the future, if there's a crisis, he has to try to be calmer and more reasonable. He agreed, and he's also agreed that he and his mom need some kind of counseling because they're obviously really struggling. So that was out of the way and we are still taking it slow. He wanted to speak to his family on behalf of me, but I requested that it was me that wanted to speak to them. So I went over there and spoke to his mom and his auntie whilst Jessica wasn't home. I wore my hair plaited under a hat out of respect. Thank you to the Redditor who suggested that. As soon as I arrived, his mom, Kat, told me she didn't want to argue and that she didn't feel she needed to hear my explanation. She said it in almost these words. This isn't something that I can be rational about. I hope you can understand that. My world revolves around that girl, and I just want to make her happy. I'm sorry I expected too much from you, but I just want to let this go now. You're obviously a wonderful girlfriend to Matthew, and I hope that you can be a part of our family. But until Jessica is better, I'd prefer it if you could not be around her. I'm sorry if that's rude, but she's really self-conscious about her appearance, and she hates being around such a young, healthy, beautiful girl with a full head of hair. I still wanted to explain my side of the story, but she kinda cut me off a bit and pretty much said, yeah, I'm being ridiculous and I don't want to listen to reason because all I care about is seeing a smile on Jessica's face. So I just apologized for upsetting Jessica, accepted Kat's apology and left. It wasn't really the discussion I'd hoped to have, but it was better than nothing. I also spoke to my agency about the situation and asked how they would feel about me cutting my hair. I knew they'd say no, but I wanted to ask anyway. They did say no, but said that they would like to help me in some way. I pulled a few strings and managed to arrange a photo shoot for myself, Jessica, and my niece. Actually, a friend's daughter, but she calls me auntie. Matthew has told me before that Jessica is struggling to maintain friendships because she's constantly in and out of the hospital, and most of her friends are a bit wary of being around now. My niece is only a year younger than her, and I think they'd get along, so I thought it would be really nice and helpful for Jessica. I bought her a wig, similar looking to my own hair, and I went shopping and bought her a ton of makeup too. Emptied the bank a little bit, but it's better than shaving my head and not working for 5 years. I called Kat again and asked if it was okay for me to come around. She declined at first, but Matthew spoke to her and she eventually agreed. I arrived wearing a bald cap, a few shades darker than my own skin, and Jessica found it hilarious. I spoke to her and told her that I was really upset that she had told Matthew that she hated me. She said sorry and told me that she was just jealous and upset. I told her about the photo shoot and she was incredibly excited, gave me a hug and wouldn't stop thanking me. We're going to have a makeover first, and then we're going to have several pictures with Jessica wearing a wig and several of us being bald because I wanted to feel beautiful either way. So I think it's kinda resolved for now. Jessica is happy, Matthew is happier, and Kat is at least accepting of the situation. I could have broken up with Matthew and walked away from this situation, and where would that get me? Jessica would still be upset, Kat would still be angry, and I wouldn't have my supportive, beautiful, and amazing boyfriend in my life. I wouldn't stand for this again. But in the last 3 amazing years of us being together, this is the only time he has faulted, and it was for an understandable reason. Also, people keep saying, this is how Matthew and his family deal with tragedy, he'll do this again. But I don't think these people understand that this is not a tragedy. There is not much that can compare to losing a young sweet daughter or sister to cancer. I've been with Matthew for 3 years, and in that 3 years we have dealt with tragedies. His good friend ended his life, and stressful situations. He almost lost his job. And he never acted like this before, because this is more than a tragedy. This is heartbreak and hell. I want to finish with 2 quotes that I read on Reddit recently. Years of love have been forgotten in the hatred of a minute. And we judge ourselves by our intentions and others by their behavior. OP's edit. I am absolutely blown away by the amount of support. Thank you so much to everybody that has made a kind of comment. Smiley face. Also, there were a couple of slightly rude comments because I said that I didn't know how Matthew found my post. He doesn't do Reddit. He barely even spends any time on his PC at all, and never on mine. Not many people know the ins and outs of the situation, and I changed some small details to attempt to make it a bit less obvious. I'm terrified of being identified. So yeah, it was kind of surprising that he found the thread. I haven't had the chance to ask him yet, but I guess a friend must have sent it to him. Either way, it's not that important to me. Thanks again, everybody. Smiley face. Alright, OP, well, you got to talk to your boyfriend and you cleared some things up. He apologized and you guys saw the other's perspective, which I have to say is a great approach to any situation, so congratulations, OP. I think you've dealt with this perfectly. So the only thing left to say is wishing the best to Jessica on her recovery, and hopefully she'll be able to get through this. All the best to you and your boyfriend, OP, and take care. Now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge, and it's by user Array Chernobyl. You like the laundry soap I buy? Great! How about some fun soap just for you? This happened a while ago, but I just found this sub, so here goes. I used to live on the 3rd floor of an apartment that had its laundry in the basement, which means 4 flights of stairs for me. No elevator, and I have a newborn, so I'm washing quite a bit. So we have cubbies in the laundry room for our soap and stuff. I've lived there a year and never had an issue leaving my soap down there. Apparently, some new people have moved in and were using my soap. When I realized it, I left a note asking that they stop. Nothing. They kept using it. Okay, now I'm pissed. I got 2 bottles of soap, a blue colored one and clear colored one. Marked the bottles clearly that they belonged to me, so they couldn't accidentally say they thought they were theirs. Filled the blue soap with Blue Rit dye, filled the clear soap with unscented bleach, and waited. Didn't take long. The next morning I hear screaming coming from the laundry room. 4 floors up, I heard it. I waited a while and ventured downstairs. In the laundry room, I found a bunch of wet clothes in the garbage that were bleach stained. 4 days later, I saw a young man get into a car with a blue stained t-shirt. Touch my effing stuff. Well, I guess they learned not to touch your stuff, OP. Well done. Thanks for sharing. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I certainly did reading them to you. So if you did, then go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of our Discord community that just keeps growing, and it is fantastic. And like I said in the beginning of the video, all of the relevant links are in the video description below, so be sure to check them out. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys enjoy this content, so thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.